information, but great stuff. Any of you believe that you can outwork or outpace in volume an 83-year-old salesperson in Dallas, Texas? How many of you believe you could do that? A couple of you? All right. Let's take the challenge then. Let me jump over and share my screen. And let me spotlight, make sure we're good. Okay, so Dallas man breaks his own world record in sales. So I'm not sure if you can see the numbers here, but this year he did, in 2020, he did 6,438 homes. And this year he did 7,012 homes totaling $3.6 billion in sales. And he is a solo agent. He's not on a team. He's a solo agent. So
he must be in the luxury division.
Lisa, what's up?
I think he's a polygamist, and that's how we get all of his referrals.
Oh, that's got to be it, Lisa.
Yeah. So the reality is the reason he can do this is because he represents like 64 builders or something like that, which is crazy. Still an amazing number of sales. But I was absolutely shocked by this guy. 7,000. I don't know how many contracts that is a month, but I can't even imagine trying to do this many. I mean, I can do like 5 at a time. He must be doing hundreds at a time. So anyhow, fun stuff. If you guys want to set a good goal, set a goal to beat the world record. Current world record for an individual selling homes is 7,012. So if you can get to 7,013 in a year, you'll hold the world record. So there's your goal for the year.
It makes me tired just thinking about it.
Right. All right, so we're going to get into the Verus One app, some Facebook ads, LivebyLocal. Let me turn some people off here. Okay. LivebyLocal, hot sheets, marketing center, lead pages, all kinds of stuff today, depending on how much time we have. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk a little bit about NAR and their new stuff that came out yesterday, their question and answer that gives us some answers to some things that we've been asking about quite a bit. This first clarification question was the practice change requiring written agreements with buyers is triggered by 2 things. One, they have to be, the MLS participant, the agent has to be working with a buyer, and it's triggered by touring a home. And so what does it mean to work with a buyer? And so you can see MLS participants who provide brokerage services to a buyer. And those brokerage services are things like identifying properties, so finding homes, arranging showings, performing or facilitating negotiations, presenting offers, and other services that you might do. Those are people who are working with a buyer. And that's differentiated from people who are simply marketing their service or just talking to buyers. And those people are not working with a buyer, and therefore it wouldn't be triggered to have a written agreement. If you were just, talking to a potential buyer, you don't necessarily have to say, hey, before I can talk to you and tell you about the home market, can you sign this agreement, right? And so that gives you a little bit of leeway there. The second question was, if an MLS participant hosts an open house or provides access to a property, so opens the door for an unrepresented buyer, and they're working on behalf of the seller only, do you then have to enter into a written agreement? And NAR said no. The new rule will cover every type of relationship where an MLS participant is working with a buyer. And again, remember, that goes back to what I just read from, and that's why I put it in here. Working with a buyer means that you're identifying properties for them, or you're performing negotiations or writing contracts or those kind of things. It doesn't mean that if you're at an open house and they walk in and they're unrepresented, they don't have to sign an agreement with you before seeing the house. Or if they call on your listing and say, hey, can I see the house? And you're just going to go open the door for them, you're not working for them. If you decide to provide more information or look for homes for them or do negotiations for them of any kind, then at that point you would enter into a written agreement with them. Questions on open houses or access to property? I think it's pretty clear, but if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. Okay. The next one, should active buyer agreements entered into before the MLS policy change be amended to make sure that compensation is not open-ended and objectively ascertainable? So remember that in the new agreement, when you write a buyer broker agreement, you have to have compensation that's not open-ended, and it has to be objectively ascertainable, whatever that means, right? And so what this is asking is, if I have a buyer broker agreement now in May, and in July this changes, do I have to go back and change it? And the NAR rule said, or the NAR person said, yes. MLS participants or agents working with buyers after the effective date of the policy should take steps to ensure that the buyer has agreed to the necessary terms required by the settlement agreement. So if you have a compensation agreement that is open-ended, you're going to have to change that. And then the last one, I think the last one, nope, one more after this. So on this one, it should active listings or buyer's agreements entered into before the policy change be amended if compensation is set by law. Sorry, if it does not include a disclosure that compensation is not set by law and is fully negotiable. So remember, as part of the settlement agreement, all of our agreements now have to state in writing that compensation is not set and it's fully negotiable. And I'm sure that there will be a clause in the new buyer broker agreements and listing agreements saying this in big bold letters, probably in capitals. But because our agreement does not currently say that, if you have a listing agreement or a buyer agreement, we're going to have some type of a disclosure that goes out. And I'm sure UAR or the brokerage will provide that. And it will just state compensation that is offered is not set by the brokerage or by law, and it's fully negotiable. And all of your clients will need to sign that if they've already signed an active listing or an active buyer agreement.
Okay. Jeff, just so you know, I believe, in fact, I'm pretty sure that in the latest change that they recently made on the buyer broker agreement and the listing agreement, they do have a statement that that commissions are not set by any MLS or anything else.
Yeah, so I actually went back to look at that because I wondered what it said and if it was going to have to be something. And it's this one right here that's in big bold letters. It says brokerage fees are not set by any board or association of realtors or MLS, or in any manner, any other manner besides between the company and the buyer, right? And the listing one says between the company and the seller, but it doesn't say, it doesn't specify that that commissions are negotiable. And I think that's where we're going to have to go back and do it anyhow, is because it doesn't specifically say that compensation is negotiable. So that's my guess, is that we're still going to have to go back and do all those. So we'll see what UAR says. UAR, I'm sure, will give us some guidelines. I was at the division caravan yesterday, and the division said that UAR is getting very close to getting their forms done. So I think that we should hear from UAR very shortly as to what we're going to be seeing here in Utah. All right, this last one says, can buyers and buyers brokers rely on an offer of compensation that was on the MLS prior to the effective date of the policy? So let's say that you're looking for homes in July, the first part of July, you see a home, it's offering 2.5%. The rule changes go into effect in late July, and you're now going back to that same home, but now the offer of compensation is not on the MLS anymore. Can we rely on getting that 2.5 is what this is saying. And it says that if you wrote the sales contract before the policy change, so if you went under contract before, then yes, you can rely on the compensation that was offered across the MLS. If you write a sales contract after that, even if you think you know what the MLS or what the buyer broker compensation was going to be, then no, you need to put some type of a contract in writing, an escrow commission agreement or a payment addendum or some other agreement that UAR will come out with. in order to take care of yourself on the contractual side for your compensation. So those are the big highlights of that email you should have all got yesterday. I got mine about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I think Don got his like at 11 p.m. because he's a Z, so that they go out later for the Z's. So depending on where you are in the alphabet,
It's discrimination. It's discrimination.
Definitely.
I've been last at things all my life because I'm a Z.
Well, and for other reasons too, right? Okay. All right. Any questions on NAR stuff? I'll take any questions if you've got any NAR questions. If not, we're going to move on to Verus 1. But let me know if you got any questions.
I have a question.
Shocking.
Maybe I wasn't listening because I am distracted.
Those two things would both be shocking, Leah, that you A, have a question and B, weren't listening.
Sorry.
Wait, let me catch my breath.
You probably have said it. I read last night you can't negotiate the buyer's agent commission, that once it is what the seller says it is, that the buyer's agent can't be trying to renegotiate. Are those people wrong that I read?
Yeah, they're definitely wrong. You can negotiate the buyer's agent commission. What you cannot do is you can't put in your listing or your buyer agreement that you will take 1%. And then if the listing agent offers 2%, you still only get 1%.
Yeah.
But you can
I know,
negotiate.
yeah, I got that. Always just put the 3% in and then do an addendum to accept less, because you don't want to miss out on if it is offering more. But if it is offering 1%, you could like do an addendum and negotiate 2%.
Absolutely.
And those people are wrong that is saying if it's only 1%, well, it's 1%. There's nothing you can do about it. That's not true.
Correct.
Thank you.
You can negotiate commissions. Yes. Other questions? Okay, we'll jump over to the Verus 1 app then. And Paul is here from Verus. He is the head honcho, big man, gets paid the big bucks, knows all things Verus. And so if I'm wrong on any of this, Paul's going to jump in. Paul, jump in and tell me where I'm wrong. But this is an awesome app, guys. So this is from Verus Title, Brenda Hansen over there. She got me into this app, turned me onto it. She didn't get me into the app per se. Started looking at the app, and the things that this can do are absolutely amazing for your marketing. So I kind of want to go through, what it is, what it offers, and show you guys how you can use this in your marketing. When you first open up the app, it comes into you, and you may not be able to see super well because I wonder if I go into light mode, if that'll make it better. Yeah, a little bit better. You can see down at the bottom that you've got your buyer, seller, calculators, premium, and Verus icons. If I go into the Verus one, I'll go into that first over here. That shows you who you're connected with. So I'm connected with Brenda Hansen. Would suggest that you connect with Brenda. She's amazing. I've done plenty of closings with her. She's awesome at what she does. And she provides great support through here. And so it shows you kind of, your escrow and closing fees has a section. If you go into there, it allows you to put in that information and compute that. It goes into the offices and where they're located. We have one in Utah, and so we know where that is, over in Lehi. And then it has down here in this section, the favorite content of Branda's, which is an awesome tool. She goes in and picks some things that she likes the best, because there's a ton of stuff in here. And so if you happen to pick one that she likes, for example, this one of the United States, so it'll pop up here. This is one of Branda's. The US homeowners see massive 5-year equity gains. And if I zoom in on this on Utah, our equity gains over the last 5 years have been 71.5%. That's an amazing equity gain, one of the highest in the United States. That's a fun little shareable right there that you can jump into. You can see it's already branded to me at the bottom, has the Fathom logo on it. And so you're good to just share this over to social media or wherever you want. And I'll show you where that goes. But that's in this Verus tab at the end. Let me jump back. So this first, the buyer and the seller are net sheet calculators or purchase price calculators, closing cost calculators. And so you're able to go in and just put in your purchase price. So we'll do a $500,000 home on a conventional loan with 10% down, a 7.25% interest rate over 30 years. If you wanted to put in any miscellaneous costs there, if there were any, you could. It calculates 0.35% homeowners insurance. I have no idea if that's accurate or not, but I just average of what that would be. So I'm just going to leave that. And then taxes, it calculates for Utah County at 1.49%. You can also just go in, if I know what the taxes are, so let's say probably like $2,900 a year, I can put that in as a dollar amount. And you would put your closing date, your estimated closing date of when you're going to do that. And when I hit compute, it brings up this awesome chart, right? So your monthly payment's going to be $36.26. It breaks it down by PMI. So your primary payment, your principal payment and your interest payment, your taxes, your insurance, and any mortgage insurance. So that's broken down there. And then what they're bringing in for closing. So for down payment, $50,000. They've got prepaids of $43.49 and fixed of $9.15. And if you want to know what that is, right there at the bottom where it says detailed closing costs, I can click on that little button, maybe. Oh, normally it gives it to me. Not giving it to me today. You can click on that and it will actually break down what those closing costs are, what those prepaids are. If you go into the loan details here at the top in the blue button, it will go give you a full amortization schedule in case you want to see all 30 years of payments. For some reason, your buyer wants to see the tremendous amount of interest that they'll pay. They'll pay $655,000 of interest and a total of $1,100,000 for that house. Something you probably don't want to share with most of your buyers, to be honest. And then on the Smart Compare, which is also at the top, the Smart Compare shows you differences of what they would do. So the one that we picked is the top one with 10% down. It shows you a 20% down conventional, and then it shows you a 15-year conventional, what those payments look like and how long it would be and what their savings would be. So if they did a 15-year, for example, they would save almost $404,000 in interest by doing that. So if you can afford the extra, $800 a month, you save $400,000 over a 15-year period. So that's a great one. And if at any point in time you want to share that, up here by where my battery signal is, there's the little share icon. I can click that. Maybe some of my buttons are not working today for some reason. And that's not a Verus app problem. And so there you go. You've got your loan comparison. I can easily text this out to any of my clients, share it, save it, put it on Instagram, whatever I want to do, right? So that's super easy for me to be able to do and share. The next one over is your seller tab, and this does your seller net sheet. So, hey, Mr. Seller, I know you want to sell your house. They say, yeah, but I've got to get X amount out of it. So you go in and you say, okay, we're going to do a sales price of $500,000, and we'll do a conventional loan at 4.5%. What we're going to charge for brokerage fee, that's 2% on my side and 2.5% for the agent. You do property taxes, we'll leave at 1.49%. Oh, and by the way, I can up here at the top, if you look right under the Verus one where that just popped up, if I click on add address, I can add in the address. And so I'll click my address. And it will actually pull in my taxes for me when I do it, which is super nice. And then at the bottom, how much interest that they're currently paying, what their current interest rate is, and the closing date. So let's say we're going to close on May 31st, a typical 30-day close. And then I hit compute. And this actually shows what their net is. So it gives you a nice little net sheet. They'll net 472,000 because I didn't put in any. I should probably go back.
And normally it would even pull off any approximate mortgage payoff. So
Well, I own my house free and clear, so that's probably why.
that answers the question. Yes, because I was actually wondering if it's gonna, why it didn't pull up, but that's great.
That's why. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all
So-
hate you now, Jeff. We all
I
hate
know. I'm sorry.
But if you have a property where there's a mortgage, you would actually pull it up, and what it will say is like, hey, there's a mortgage from 2021, based on typical amortization. There should be roughly this much left now. Would you like to use that as an estimate? And you can say yes, or if the seller tells you a better, more accurate number, you can put that in. But normally it's pretty good.
It didn't pull it in either. I've had issues with it connected to my phone to my computer where it tells me I don't have internet on my phone. And so that may be the issue why it's not pulling those kind of things in. But yeah, that's a great point. It should pull in all that information for you, show what their current balance is, what their payoff is, and then give you a nice net at the top. If I go now over to holding costs, it shows you what the cost of holding this would be as far as over time, how much they would pay. And so that's a nice one to have. Let me go back to the net sheet. And if I go to the net sheet and I click the sharing tab again, and I do send full report, this is going to pull up what I've used with my sellers quite often. This is what I use for a net sheet and send over to them. Oh, and I moved it over to Spanish so that you can change those to Spanish. Let me customize that, change the language, and you can actually change it to all kinds of languages if you want. But I used Spanish, but I'll change it back to English because I'm probably the only one that knows Spanish on the call. Oh no, Ram's on the call. So we've got net sheets here. So you've got a nice net sheet. If you want something different, they've got all kinds of different templates here. You can just on. Let's pick that one and it will update and show you that sheet in a different format. And so you have the ability to change that on the fly. And then if you click your share, you can text it out, email it out, send it through Facebook, send it to your Instagram, save it, print it. And what I usually do is just email it over to the client directly. I'll send it right over to them. They can pull that up, look at the net sheet, or I'll print it out and put it in my listing package with me and take it with me so that I can show them exactly what their net sheet looks like. So this is a great tool for you if you're looking for a net sheet. Super easy to use and very quick. You can see it only took me a couple of minutes to be able to pump out a nice little net sheet that looks very professional, is branded to me and ready to go. Any questions on those two calculators? Those are two of my favorites. I use them all the time, the buyer and the seller calculators. Okay, in addition, if you go to the middle button is the calculators button, and there are all kinds of crazy calculators in here. So if you're help them renting. So if I go and say it is $1,800 a month and my home 25 and put, let's just do it on this because they're renting, and we'll do all the regular assumptions. Click done on that and compute it. And then you can see that the cost to buy is going to be $169,123. And if they rent, they're going to pay $169,403. And so it's about $300 less to buy than it is to rent. And break even point would be about 7 years. So break even, you can see that right at the 7-year mark where that green line is, that's where the difference is for the break even. And so it actually makes more sense for them to go in and buy and have the equity that they're going to have. You can go over to the equity tab. My phone didn't freeze. Phone didn't freeze. I just can't click on that. Well, normally you would be able to pull up that equity tab and it would show you the equity that you would gain over that amount of time and how much equity they would have in their home. And so that's a great one to show to your renters. I show it to renters all the time and just say, I've got renters actually in a basement apartment in my house. And I'll show them and say, look, you're paying $1,800 a month, but here's what could happen if you would buy. Right, and that helps them understand what would happen and the pros to actually getting out of the rental game as soon as they can. All right, the last one I'm going to show you is the premium tab. And let me go back. So this is the premium tab. When you first go into it, the premium tab, this is one that does cost. It costs a whopping $10. Less than $1 a month, tab, and this new feature content that you can post to your social media. So you've got one-on-one.
You keep freezing up on us, Jeff.
Help them understand.
Jeff, you're frozen.
How about now?
That's weird. The people are okay, but you're frozen.
Is it me? Because you guys still.
You're breaking up every. Yeah. There we go. Now we can see you.
Am I backish?
Yes.
Better?
It says your network bandwidth is low.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me. I'm in the office.
You need to eat more vegetables, Jeff. Increase your bandwidth.
Love it. Am I staying unfrozen?
You are, for the most part, yes.
Kind of, sorta.
You're kind of you get fuzzy and then yeah, in and out.
Let me try something real fast. If it stays okay, let me know. If I start to break up, tell me and I'll try something else.
I'll let you know.
Okay, let me know. All right, so this is, let me go back. I'm not sure how much you got to see. This is the premium tab. The premium tab is where you have to pay for the content, but the payment is a total of $10 for the entire year. So less than $1 a month. It's great value. Every single month at the top, you can see that you've got a monthly overview of what they give you. This month for April, they're giving you one-on-one content, which is a seller concession cheat sheet that you can take and give to your sellers. Shows you what concessions they can offer, how much total each kind of loan will allow. And so that's a great cheat sheet for you. They've got social media content, the rate buy down versus a price reduction. And so whether it would be better for the seller to offer as a buyer, whether it would be better to take a seller concession for rate buy down, or if it would be better just to reduce your price. And then a nice social media video that says what are seller concessions, and that's in a post and as a video. And so I'm going to show you those videos as well. Let me scroll down. in all of this, you can see that there are standard infographics that you can use, and there's a ton here, and then there's a see more, which is a lot of infographics. And then swipeable infographics. So those are the ones that you see on Instagram. Let me pull this one up on seller concessions.
Who is this with, Jeff? I didn't
This
catch.
is the Verus. This is the Verus One app.
Oh, okay.
And so this is the swipeable one. You can see this is the ones that you see on Instagram that have multiple pictures. The first one is what are seller concessions. It explains what seller concessions are. On the next one, seller concessions can be a valuable bargaining chip. And then it has it branded towards me and let's chat, right? So that's a nice little infographic that you can use for your Facebook or your Instagram. There's a ton of those as well. One of my favorites is it has personalized videos. So same thing in a video on this. And it goes through and talks about what seller concessions are, what they can be used for, and all those kind of things in just a quick little video that you could easily post to a Facebook video, an Instagram story. You could make it into a reel, TikTok, anything like that. And the end of it is branded to me. Already ready to go. So you don't have to worry about your branding or anything like that, getting caught by the division for not having your branding in it. That's all there. So those are all the calculators. It's an amazing app, a ton of information there that you can use to help your clients, buyers or sellers, depending on where they're at, and to give you media to easily done every single month to keep up your social media. So great stuff there. Definitely worth the 90 cents or 80 cents or whatever it is a month. And the only reason that it costs is because the title company has to charge you something. They can't give away anything for free, including an app. So that's why that's there. I'm going to give Paul just a minute. He's going to actually reveal some new technology to us. And if you've got anything to add about the app, Paul, I'm happy to do that as well.
Sure. No, this was a great presentation. Thank you, Jeff. I can't do better than that. The only thing is I added in the chat here the QR code for everybody to download the app. So that's all I wanted to add.
Great.
And in terms of the $10 a year, that is just for that premium tab. All the calculators are free. The reason why premium is, as Jeff mentioned, we can't give anything of value. And there's no our branding anywhere within that, any content you generate in the premium tab. So it's only your branding. All the net sheets, they'll have our little logo in the corner. So that's why we don't have to charge for that. What I wanted to talk about is a piece of technology that we rolled out that helps with seller impersonation fraud. That is a very, very common type of fraud right now, and I'm sure you've seen that as well. I know across various states at Fathom, there have been multiple attempts, some successful, some not, for fraudulent parties to engage a listing agent, list the property, and in some cases actually sell it. So what we've done just recently is a couple tools that help prevent this fraud from going all the way to the end, or prevent it from the beginning as well. And we will probably do a separate presentation for all of Utah on some best practices on that front. But I just want to talk about the technology that we have. It's called Shield. So when we open a file, when we represent the seller, you engage us on the listing side. So the first thing we do is we send a request to the seller to verify their identity. And the way it works is they get a link from our system. They have to go in and scan the back of their driver's license and the front of it. The back has all the states that look a little different, but the back usually has a QR code, special like that the computer can read. And the front has a picture ID. So they have to scan it. Our system verifies if this is a real ID. And if this barcode is valid, it's registered with DMD, it hasn't been altered. So the same system that's being used, or very similar system, is being used by TSA when you go at the airport to make sure your ID is real. And it's something that you, as a real estate agent, you have no specific skills, or none of us have any specific skills in verifying the ID is real or not. I mean, somebody gives you ID, it looks okay, but you don't really know if it's valid or not. So we check that. Once they submit their ID, it asks them in real time to take a live selfie of themselves. It compares that selfie against the ID to make sure the ID they submit is actually them. So that's one thing we do up front. Then when it comes to closing time, before we disperse, we verify that the name that who they say they are actually matches the name on a bank account. Because believe it or not, but if a wire goes into a bank account, the bank generally does not care who the recipient is listed on that wire. All they need to know is the account number. So if you have a fraudulent seller, they know the real seller's name, but the money is actually being diverted into a completely other, random bank account. There's nothing stopping that money going out to the wrong place. So we verify that as well. The crux of this is we want to make sure we don't, as a title company, don't become a victim of the seller impersonation, but we're also there to protect you as a listing agent. Because when that seller fraud happens, and there's going to be litigation, there's going to be all kinds of issues, and you as the listing agent will be named in that too, as well as a title company, as well as your brokerage, everybody else. So unfortunately, these things happen, but with these tools and some of the other things that we do on the kind of in the background, we are much more comfortable in handling the transactions, and would love to work with you on any listings or any transactions they have as well, and kind of help you protect yourself and your clients.
Hey, Paul.
Yep.
That's happened quite a bit here in Utah, but it's mainly been on land that they're doing it. And the various local boards have been very good at reporting when agents come across it. But it's very,
absolutely.
It's very real.
Well,
so I'm glad you have that.
On the land, that's very, very common. I'm seeing reports now. It's becoming common in a lot of kind of Airbnb markets where there may be seasonal. So there might not be somebody, always at the property. So the fraudsters are really moving around and looking for targets. And we'll do a more in-depth discussion on this different time on what you can do as a real estate agent. But I just want to talk about this technology piece that we have. And I appreciate you giving me a couple of minutes on this. That's all I have.
Yeah, glad to do it. Yeah, like Bill said, lots of fraud cases out there right now. Tons of, I must get, I can't tell you how many texts I get a week of people saying, hey, looking for a house, or looking to sell my house, or looking to sell my property, or whatever. And they're, as soon as they say, hey, I want to move you over to WhatsApp, it's like super red flag, right? I know immediately that this is not what they're looking for. So that's amazing technology, Paul. We'll look forward to seeing that. That's something that's available now, I assume.
It's available now. The only way you're not really going to see it, but if you send us a title order, we're going to use this technology to secure their transaction. So your client will get these requests, and if they ask you, hey, why am I being asked to submit my ID? Just explain to them, hey, that's for protection of everybody involved, including your own protection. Because we had cases where people would have fake IDs. They would have fake notaries, like their buddy who's a fake notary. I mean, it's very sophisticated. They may even know a lot of the information about the real seller. Right. A lot. Like they have their socials, they have their addresses. So it's very sophisticated.
Yeah. And it's going to get worse with AI in the mix.
Absolutely.
It's gonna get
Mhm.
harder and harder to identify this stuff. So great that we have tools and people willing to combat it on the other end. So love seeing that. All right, we're gonna switch gears now from the
I'm gonna
Verus.
jump off. Thanks,
Yeah,
everybody.
really good.
Mhm.
Thanks for being here, Paul.
Bye.
So we're gonna, oh, I'm going the wrong way. We're gonna switch gears and jump over to IntelliAgent now for a couple of quick things. Let me spotlight that back. And so over in IntelliAgent, I want to show you a couple of marketing things that are not necessarily new. One of them's newer, and then some things that you've probably forgotten about, some ways that you can market to your clients. The first of these that I'm going to show you is under lead generation. And under lead generation, this social boost right here is a newer one that has been added to IntelliAgent just in the past 4 or 5 months, if I remember right. What Social Boost does, it allows you to create an ad that very quickly goes out on Facebook to a boosted Facebook post to get content, or sorry, to get likes and leads off of that. Now, I myself use it just simply because I tell my clients that I'm going to push this out on all social media content. And so this is an easy way for me to push it out on Facebook. If I click on this ad, it should pull up. Of course, it's not going to. Oh, I have to click on the icon. All right. It'll pull up what that ad looks like. So this is the ad that it creates for me. Just listed 5 beds, 3 baths in Layton. If you want to get a quote for the price, and gives you a short detail about that information. They can get more information as well. So this is the ad that they see on Facebook. And so they can click on that. When they click on that, let me jump back over to my dashboard. Sorry, my contacts. We'll get there eventually. It is not wanting to pull my contacts. Technology not being friendly with me today, folks. Imagine that. All right, there's my contacts. You can see maybe the source of these leads. And the source of these leads, these that have this address in it, all came from Social Media Boost. And you can see some of them have like nottoday@gmail.com. That's probably not his email address, but that looks like that may be a valid phone number. And so I've got several email and phone numbers in here just from one Social Media Boost that I did on that property. Didn't follow up with any of them because I'm not in the market to actually gain more buyers, but very easy. These come directly into your dashboard. You can see them come in. You're notified when they come in. And so it makes it very easy for you to gain some leads off this. Let me go through creating an ad for you. So I'm going to jump back to lead gen, jump back to Social Media Boost. And let me show you how easy this was. I just simply click on this Create Social Media Boost button here. And then I can choose what I want to do. If I'm going to do an open house, a just sold, a just listed. So let me do a just listed. I select my listing and let me see, I do 210 South. In Linden. And so there's my property. My website stays the same because that's the website I want it to go to. And so it will automatically link to that. This is the property that I want to do. I click continue. And then here's your pricing. And there is a cost for this. It's one time. If you want to boost for 3 days, 7 days, 21 days, I'll do a 3-day boost. Click continue. You can decide how big of a radius that you want. You can go all the way up to 50 miles. This targets Facebook users within this radius. So depending on how close or how far out you want to go, you can do that. Click continue. And then it just states, this is how I'm going to pay. I've already put this in from another one, so it's all obviously already here. This is how much it's going to be, my radius and my ad. click post ad. And hopefully it doesn't take too long, but they build the ad and post it right then and there, and it goes active for you. You don't have to do anything further. All of the leads that are clicked on Facebook come directly into yours. And
Hey,
it doesn't
Jeff,
take a payment. Yeah,
is there an additional cost based on the radius size, or does it
No.
not matter?
does not matter. Same number of impressions, and I'm not sure how many impressions that is, but you get the same number of impressions. It just is spread out over a wider geographical area.
What is the geographical distance that you would recommend?
It depends. For me, I always put 50 miles just because I like to push it out, and I'm happy to work with clients no matter where they are. But if you're like Shelley Jameson, who only wants to work with clients in Spanish Fork, then you would want to have a pretty small radius so that all of your leads come from that smaller radius.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Brian, do you have your hand up?
Yeah, is that just on your listings?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, so you can pick any listing and just get the same thing, get their permission then to advertise their listing, get another agent's listing.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see I typed in 24 and I've got 5 different listings that I could do an advertisement on.
Where did you type that 24 in? I missed that.
Just right here, it says select listing when you go in. So I'll go back. I created a social media boost. I did
Okay.
adjust listing. It says select listing, and I can type in, whatever. It's got a whole list of stuff here already.
It went to the MLS and pulled up those. Okay.
Yeah, so if I type in Main, it'll pull up the ones on main streets, right? And then
Can you geographically target, like if you wanted in a certain city or area or whatever?
No, not really. So the best way to do this is to know what property you're looking for. And the easy way is just to jump over the MLS, figure out what
Gotcha.
property you want to target, then come back here and put that address in.
Okay, got it.
Lisa?
And then of course get that agent's permission to advertise it, right?
Yeah, if it's not within Fathom Realty, you've got to have the agent and the owner's permission to advertise it.
Do we automatically have a Fathom release to do any Fathom property then?
You do, yeah.
Okay.
Lisa?
So when you were showing us the people, when you first started this, that didn't, you were like, oh my gosh, what do I want to say? When
All
you
these
were
people?
first showing us, yes, that screen, are these your contacts or are these contacts that anywhere where it was boosted? So you don't know these people sometimes.
I don't know any of these people. So
Okay,
all of these ones that came in with the source being this address, these are
Okay.
all cold leads that came in off of that post. I've never talked to them. I don't know them.
okay.
I don't even know if
Because
this
you said
information
your
is correct.
contacts, and so when it said contacts, I thought it was people that you were working with that already saw this or something.
Yeah, no, it just puts it in your contact area for you. It automatically puts it in your CRM.
Oh, okay, that makes
It
sense.
automatically creates a contact for those people that
Nice.
respond to that ad.
So
Right.
basically for that ad, when you boost it for like $60, you get leads.
Yep. It's a super easy cold lead source.
And this is different than paid Facebook ads where you actually put in criteria of the kind of leads you're looking for, correct?
It is. It's less targeted and it's less work. So you get less
Gotcha.
targeted ads, but it's also less work because you just simply click a couple of buttons and then
And a
this
lot less
company does it for you.
expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay, that was
It can be in Facebook. You can identify how much you want to pay for each impression and how far it goes and how many people see it and all those kind of things. So
Okay.
you get much less control here, but it's a lot easier.
Yeah,
But
that's
it'd be a
lot
nice shot in
money.
the arm, right?
Yeah. Did you have something, Lisa?
Well, I was gonna say, this is a lot less money than like a monthly campaign with Facebook to boost your ads. And you get actual information that hopefully would materialize to get 1 or 2 leads.
Yeah, I mean, all of this information that I've received over the Facebook ads that I've done appears to be viable. Like Clinton Horton, clintonhorton@gmail.com. That's probably a legitimate number. And these phone numbers all look legitimate to me. When I put mine in, it's like 801-555-1212, right? When I'm trying to fake out a system. So these all appear to be good leads. If anybody wants these leads, let me know. I'm happy to give them to you.
I just started to say, if you're not going to work those, are you happy to share those? Because I'm happy to participate in that for sure.
I was gonna screenshot it, but it's so blurry that I couldn't see it. He said he didn't want them, if I could read them.
I blurred your screen on purpose, Leah, so that's
Send
fine.
it out in an
Wait,
email.
what? It's not blurry for everyone else? It's like
No,
It is.
my screen is perfectly readable. I don't know what your
Serious?
problem is. Leah.
Just divide those
Screen
puppies
is
up
blurry
and
to
send them
clear it
out.
up.
All right. So any other questions on the social boost? So
No.
again, that's under lead generation,
gen.
social boost. That's where you're going to
Okay,
find
perfect.
That's
that.
awesome.
And then right above that is LivebyLocal. Reminder that we have LivebyLocal. Let me jump into that real quick and show it to you. So LivebyLocal, if you get there and it doesn't look like this and it says you need to connect your MLS, you may need to go into your settings in IntelliAgent and make sure your MLS is connected properly. If it's not, or you need help, feel free to contact myself or Don, your broker, or you can reach out to Agent Services. They can help you with it as well. So when you first come into this, you can search by zip code, by area, by neighborhood, by address. Any of those would be appropriate. Let's do my address again in Highland. Problem with Highland is that the zip code also goes into American Fork, as you know. And so I get this cool geographical area when I search my property. And it didn't pull up any info. It's been having issues this morning. I have a tough time pulling up market information. So it may not look as cool as it really is if it doesn't work this morning. There we go. All right, so you pull it up and the first thing that you see is it gives you a quick overview of that zip code. You can see for the current period, 59 homes have sold, the median house price, list to sales price, sales volume, median days on market for Highland American Fork is 31 days. And so far this year, we've sold 194 homes in American Fork and Highland. And then you can see where it was last month, what the change was last year, and what the change was from last year. And so you can see last year we had sold 228 homes in that zip code, and this year we've only sold 184. So this is good information if you're just kind of going into a listing appointment, you want to look up someone's address, and then you want them to say, hey, how many homes have sold, what's the average days on market, what to expect price-wise. All of those things are really great. But the real power of LivebyLocal comes in these two up here. And so my preference is marketing report, and that's going to show this same information. But the community guide is great as well. I'll show you what that is. Hopefully marketing report works. I've had it work once out of 4 times this morning. So we'll see if it pulls. I love the few seconds comment because you can see it likes to spin here for a little while.
That's the same as an agent saying, I'll make it real quick.
Is that
now, Don, don't get personal.
There's no such thing as a real quick question from an agent, okay?
It's kind of like a real quick question from Don Zimmerman.
Yeah,
That extends it double time, yes.
it doesn't exist.
The
That
phrase
one-
is, do you have a minute? That's the phrase.
Yeah, that one didn't pull. I'll try that one again in just a minute. So we'll go to this is the community guide. So the community guide is a zip code guide for this zip code. And it goes through, it shows you, you can see on the map all the restaurants, you can do coffee shops, grocery stores, nightlife, dog parks, fitness, shopping, medical, like all of these things that you could highlight for this zip code and what's around it. And then below you can see ratings for those. It comes through Yelp, and so people are able to click on those. It goes through the demographics, how many people are in that zip code, what the median house price, or sorry, median income price is, their ages, their education levels, how many people have children and how many don't, what the marital status is. And then it has this nice little, I want to ask you a question, right? And I'll get back to why this is important, but this is here as a lead magnet, a way that you can gain leads again, just like on that last page. But then it goes through your schools, middle schools and high schools, your lifestyle trends. So people in the 84003 zip code like to be in outdoor activities. They like to be in fitness fashion, functional fitness, yoga, girl squad. No idea what that is. I guess people who like to go out with the girls. So I didn't know my zip code had so many people who liked that. But
Yeah, that's a lie.
And then the commuting, you can see 97% of the residents go by car, 1% on public transportation, and 2% commute by foot. So there's that. And then it goes through environmental. It says that 21% of the buildings in Utah have in 84003 in American Fork and Highland have a significant flood risk. That's all the people in my neighborhood, not my personal neighborhood, but down from my neighborhood who built in the river bottoms and thought that was a really good idea. Those are all the people who get flooded. So there's that. So it's got all this great information for you. Like I mentioned, it has right here a section that you can put, ask me a question about new listing alerts or sell my property, determine my home value, or they can just type a message in, and when they hit send, it goes to your email address with their contact information. They're prompted to put in their email address, their phone number, their name, all that kind of stuff. So the nice thing is up here at the top, this little share button, that's what you're going to click. And then you can easily share this to Facebook, to Twitter, to LinkedIn. You can download it. You can, oh, sorry, that's not LinkedIn. That's a link. You can link that to Instagram or wherever you want to link it. And then you can email it as well. And so when somebody clicks on that link, it comes to this report. They can scroll through and see all this information. So you could put up a post that says, hey, do you want to know all the great restaurants around 84003 around American Fork? People could click into that link and then they can browse all this information, right? And if they happen to want more information or talk to you, they can go here. So the community page for me is more about a buyer resource. This is one where if you're working with buyers who are coming in, especially from out of state, you can use this as a way to educate them about what's around. And you can also use ads posting out in Facebook and Instagram with the same information to hopefully gain some clients and some trust about you knowing the area. The one that wouldn't pull up marketing data, I feel is the better one to use for this, the marketing report. We'll see if it'll pull up. But it goes through and shows all that information about houses, how many have sold, median price, days on market, all that kind of stuff. And so that's a great one to post to your neighborhood and just say, hey, if anybody wants to know the information about this neighborhood, here's a link for you. Go and look at this link anytime that you want. It's always updated. It'll show you what's currently going on in the neighborhood. And then if they click on, hey, give me more information, they're a solid lead for you because they're coming in through a marketing report that talks about all of the marketing information for their zip code. So if you've got different neighborhoods that you want to spotlight with this, you could easily put this in neighborhood videos that you put out, neighborhood advertisement, newsletter that you put out in an email. You could do it, as a link that you put in for your Instagram posts. So all of those things are available to you, and it makes it very easy for you to push this out and get responses to it. Lisa, you've got a question?
Yeah, so my question is, can I copy that link on that, the first report, and then put it somehow into that boost thing you just showed us? And then I could boost it around Midvale where I have that listing? Or
No.
no?
Yeah, so Social Boost won't take a link. It will only take a property directly off the MLS.
Okay.
Yeah, so but you could go into your Facebook Marketing Center and build an ad around that link and have that be your form that you use, or your lead magnet that you're going to use.
Jeff,
And you
how
can do
do
your
they,
own boost.
You can do your own boost, yeah, your own ads or your own social media boosts, absolutely. Leah?
how do they get up-to-date information? Because I thought you would download it and then upload it. So it would just be the month of March or whatever. It wouldn't be current. But you said that once you post it, it will just keep on updating to the most relevant information. So how did you say to
Read the
Post it up.
screen. Leah, look at the screen.
So right here on the
Data
screen, all the
provided.
data is provided by the MLS. And so every time somebody goes back into this report, it pulls the most recent data from the MLS and gives them the most recent data.
because you're just copying and pasting the link, and I normally download the document. So
Right.
don't download it and upload it.
Right.
Just copy
You
and
could
paste the link.
download this, right? If you download this and print it out as a
Yeah, that's what
report,
I do.
you can, but obviously,
Then it's-
unless you've got new paper that I've never heard of, that's not going to automatically update every time something changes.
So
right?
yeah, you don't want to send it out in an email like by attaching the document. You want to just send out the link. Okay.
Yeah, or I would send both, right? I would send, here's the current stuff, and if you want to have updated information, here's a link for you to be able to go in anytime and see what it is, right? And then you're providing both pieces of value for your clients in order for them to move forward. So,
Or you could post the information every Monday,
yeah.
Monday Madness, and here's all the current information. So you become known on social media as an expert.
I mean, look, I can jump on, just like on this Zoom call, I could jump on just like this, pull up my screen on one side and me on the other side, and start talking about, hey, here's what's going on currently in April. This is what happened in your neighborhood. We had 59 homes sold. Our median sales price was $539,000. We were at 96% list to sold, right? And so it's very easy for me to give a market update with this in the background. And it's got some great information, some good screenshots that you could take and push to social media and all those kind of things as well. These charts are all interactive, and so you can see a history 2022 to 2024, kind of where we're at. Sold to list price, you can see that our sold to list price is going down in our trend. So about 1%, not a whole lot, but a little bit. And again, here's your magnet. Here's your information. If I click that and I say, hey, I want to sell my property, and I click send, you can see that pulls up a form where they put in their first name, last name, email address, and phone number. They send that and it goes to your Fathom email address. Now remember, your Fathom email address is tied to whatever email address you gave us when you first signed up with Fathom. All of those emails automatically forward to that address. There's not an account that you go to for Fathom to pull these up. All those automatically just go to your main email address. So this is a great report. You can see market conditions, buyers versus sellers market, what those things are, how you can negotiate with those, market conditions and price, how many homes are listed in each price point currently, and how many have sold in the past. All the statistics are here. So really great market report there. Any questions on this?
Yeah, Jeff, I just wanted to make a comment for everybody that's on. You guys, this is all provided to you at no charge with Fathom. I mean, if you learn how to use this stuff, you can absolutely be successful. Yeah. So, I mean, everything that Jeff has shown you are things that, other than the $10 a year for the Verus app, if you want to do the premium.
But still, for marketing for 90 cents or whatever it is a month, like,
yeah,
this can't
incredible
get better
stuff.
value. Yeah.
And there's more.
And there's a ton more, right? I didn't talk about hot sheets. I didn't talk about the marketing center. I didn't talk about the lead pages that you can create in your website.
The broadcasts.
You get a free website. And so there's a ton of marketing potential here. And I'll continue to go through those things as you want to talk about those. But all of these things are things that you can use to go out there and get the leads. I'm always asked, hey, does Fathom provide leads? We don't provide direct leads, but we provide you a ton of ways to be able to go out there and get the leads that you want from the people that you want to get them from. All right, guys, we're running out of time, but happy to take questions on this or anything else pertaining to real estate for just a few minutes. So if you've got anything, feel free to ask, or you're welcome just to jump off and go get lunch, whatever works for you.
I have a quick question. Do we have anything that can help us build a newsletter?
A newsletter builder. I've actually got a couple of things in the works, and so I'll put that for next month's topic, Brian. We'll talk
Okay.
about newsletters and builders, because I've got a couple of good sources that can help with that.
Because they were asking about a link, and I thought it'd be cool to do a newsletter with that link in it based.
Yep. Yeah, we'll talk about that next month. That's a great one. I'll put that
Okay.
for June's topic. Any other questions? All right, guys, thanks for being here. Hope you have a great day. Go out and sell some real estate.